Now, reports suggest that you are planning to remove immigrants with no due process and send them to prisons in Libya. Libya is in the middle of a civil war. It is subject to a level 4 travel advisory, meaning we tell American citizens never to travel to Libya. We don't have an embassy there because it is not safe for our diplomats. Sending migrants with pending asylum claims into a war zone, just because it's cruel, is so deeply disturbing.
Today, a fiery exchange unfolded in the Senate as Senator Chris Murphy delivered a blunt critique of the administration's handling of immigration and budgetary issues, accusing the Department of Homeland Security of operating outside the bounds of federal law. Senator Murphy opened his remarks by expressing regret for missing a recent call with the Secretary of Homeland Security, but quickly shifted to a more forceful tone, alleging that the department is out of control in its spending. He warned that the agency is dangerously close to violating the Anti-Deficiency Act, which prohibits federal agencies from spending more money than Congress has allocated.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Madam Secretary, thank you for being here. I'm sorry that I missed your call yesterday. I look forward to working closely with you. I say this with seriousness and respect, but your department is out of control. You are spending like you don't have a budget. You're on the verge of running out of money for the fiscal year. You are illegally refusing to spend funds that have been authorized by this Congress and appropriated by this committee. You are ignoring the immigration laws of this nation, implementing a brand new immigration system that you have invented that has little relation to the statutes that you are required, that you are commanded to follow, as spelled out in your oath of office. You are routinely violating the rights of immigrants who may not be citizens, but whether you like it or not, they have constitutional and statutory rights when they reside in the United States.
According to Murphy, DHS is on track to run out of funds by July, 2 months before the fiscal year ends. Murphy argued that the department has not only exceeded its budget, but has also illegally diverted funds away from critical programs. He claimed that money intended for cybersecurity and disaster preparedness has been redirected to support the administration's aggressive border policies, leaving the nation more vulnerable to cyber attacks from adversaries like Russia and China.
Let's start with your spending. You are on track to trigger the Anti-Deficiency Act. That means you are going to spend more money than you have been allocated by Congress. This is a rare occurrence, and it is wildly illegal. Your agency will be broke by July, over 2 months before the end of the fiscal year. You may not think that Congress has provided enough money to ICE, but the Constitution and the federal law does not allow you to spend more money than you have been given or to invent money. And this obsession with spending at the border, as the chairwoman mentioned, has left the country unprotected elsewhere. The security threats to the United States are higher, not lower, than when before Trump came to office. To fund the border, you have illegally gutted spending for cybersecurity. As we speak, Russian and Chinese hackers are having a field day attacking our nation. You've withdrawn funds for disaster prevention. Storms are going to kill more people in this country because of your illegal withholding of these funds. Your myopia about the border, fueled by President Trump's prejudice against people who speak a different language, has shattered many of this country's most important defenses.
The senator also accused DHS of refusing to spend funds appropriated by Congress for specific purposes, a practice known as impoundment, which he says is both illegal and a violation of the agency's responsibilities. He cited the alleged cancellation of programs that help lawful permanent residents prepare for citizenship, suggesting this reflects a broader effort to make life more challenging for immigrants.
Your myopia about the border, fueled by President Trump's prejudice against people who speak a different language, has shattered many of this country's most important defenses. Now let's talk about the impoundments. When Congress appropriates funds for a specific purpose, the administration has no discretion as to whether to spend or not spend that money, unless you go through a very specific process with this committee. Let me give you 2 of many instances of this illegal impoundment. The first is the Shelter and Services Program. Senator Britt may want to zero that account out, but that account is funded, and it was funded in a bipartisan way. You don't like the program. Your policy is to treat migrants badly. I think that's abhorrent, but it doesn't matter that you don't like the program. You cannot cancel spending in this program, and you cannot use the funds as you have to fund other things, like ICE. You have also canceled citizenship and integration grants, which help lawful permanent residents become citizens, helping them take the citizenship test. I know your goal is to try to make life as hard as possible for immigrants, but that goal is not broadly shared by the American public. That's why Congress, in a bipartisan way, for decades, has funded this program to help immigrants in this country become citizens.
Murphy also addressed the sharp decline in encounters at the southern border, arguing that the drop is not a sign of success, as the administration may claim, but rather the result of unlawful restrictions on asylum seekers. He reminded the committee that U.S. asylum laws, designed to prevent humanitarian tragedies, guarantee the right to seek asylum, a commitment rooted in the country's response to past atrocities. The senator's speech took an even darker tone when he accused DHS of engaging in what he described as disappearances, the alleged deportation of immigrant activists and students who have spoken out against the administration's policies, including reports of potential deportations to conflict zones like Libya. Murphy warned that such actions not only violate the rights of those affected but also undermine the constitutional protections that form the backbone of American democracy. He called on his colleagues, regardless of party affiliation, to uphold the rule of law and prevent the erosion of constitutional rights, emphasizing that these are not partisan concerns but fundamental issues of justice. As this heated debate continues, the question remains whether Congress will take action to rein in what some describe as an administration overstepping its legal boundaries.